And welcome back to Wednesday's episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Got a full box now as Wrestling Wednesday enters episode 5 here right after Christmas, December 27th. I have Gary Althiser, the head coach at Wellsville, and our YSN Wrestling Guru in the top right-hand corner there. Scotty Minter, as always, and then our special guest on Wrestling Wednesdays today from Salem, Kyle Burt. Kyle, thank you so much for joining us today, bud.
Thanks for having me.
You got it. Salem off to a good start so far. And one of the things I know about this wrestling program is there's a lot of guys in it. I mean, you have a big program and a big roster this year. So what's it like having a good turnout?
I mean, it's good. It's just more people in the room for like different styles, and it's just good for practice.
Oh, Gary's muted.
Kyle, you've had some success in your career. You're a state qualifier. I believe your sophomore year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I ask this every week. Every good wrestler, it starts in the practice room. Do you have a drill partner that your go-to, or can you tell us a little bit about who's pushed you in the wrestling room to help get you better?
Yeah, my main practice partner is Will Harmon, but I practice with a whole bunch of guys: Joey Kana, my brother Cyle, Burt, and my coach Scoot, Caden Hart. But those are the guys that really push us like just every day.
I'm sure inside and outside the wrestling room, you might have some stuff with your brother. I'm sure there's some off practice wrestling going there inside the family as well.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the mental strength it takes to wrestle. Every time we bring a wrestler on, we talk about what their mental preparation is, how they handle a long, grueling match, and how they're able to keep themselves mentally locked in. What is your strategy to stay mentally locked in during a wrestling match?
I don't know. I just stick to the basics. Like, I mean, I don't know. Just stick to what I know, and read the keys.
So you guys started out well. I believe you guys won your first tournament.
Yeah.
That you guys were in, and over the last couple of years, you guys have brought home a lot of team trophies. And like Anthony said, you have a big roster. Every year, it seems like Salem always has a really good sized roster. How motivating is it for you guys to know that when you go into a tournament that you can come home with that team trophy?
I mean, it's just really motivating. Like, and it just helps us get more guys out. When you see us succeeding, and guys getting on the podium, getting first, second, third, it just brings more people in and gets the program more attention.
Let's talk about your wrestling journey. When did you start in the sport, and when did you find yourself starting to really take it seriously and wanting to work at it and wanting to be the best wrestler you could be?
I started when I was little, about like 4 or 5, but I really started like taking it serious in junior high.
So I'm sure getting back to the state tournament, getting on the podium is a big goal for you. Do you have any other goals as far as maybe career wins, some kind of school record, anything else like that you want to achieve this year?
I mean, most pins would be a cool one. I'm at like 13 right now, or 12 for the season, but I mean, just like that's probably the only one I'll probably get.
When you think of all the stuff that you've already accomplished, Gary went over it, state qualifier, you've done a lot of great things. What are you most proud of so far in your wrestling career?
Just making an impact on the other guys, making just the room more talented, and pushing the other guys.
So your first trip to the state tournament, you didn't get on the podium. How much has that motivated you this year? Do you think that being there once already has really, what to expect? The lights aren't going to be too big. And do you have your eyes focused now on in Columbus in March?
Yeah, I've had my eyes on the podium since last year, but I really think I can get on there this year.
We always also talk to wrestlers about the rivalries they build over the years, and you wrestle a lot of the guys at the same time, especially if you're good at your craft, you'll see a lot of guys that you wrestle a couple of times at least in your career. Who are some guys that when you see them across from you on the mat that you get really stoked to wrestle and you know it's going to be a fun match and it's going to be a hard one too?
Usually those Louisville kids, because they're usually really good. And I mean, just depends. Like there's a whole bunch of other kids around the area. Some Canfield kids are really good. I like wrestling against those ones.
Well, the season is now we're getting towards the middle of the season now, and really where things are gelling. I'm not sure what weight you've went this year so far, but do you have a weight that you're going to progress towards as the year goes on, or are you going to stay where you're at now?
I've been wrestling 138, and now the plan's to stay there, but you know, stuff might happen, might have to go up or down, but I plan to stay at 38.
Earlier you talked about wanting to leave an impact on this program and the guys in it, and trying to make them better as a teammate. When if we interview a Salem wrestler next year and we talk about what being Kyle's teammate, what impact that led to them, what do you think? What do you hope their answer would be?
Just how I push people in the practice room, and like how hard we go, and like how just intense our drilling is.
Well, since you've talked about the things that you want to accomplish this year and the things that your team has done, is there anything that kind of you would tell anybody out there that's starting up into the sport? What would you focus on to become a good wrestler? There's always new kids coming out every year, and the sport's expanding. There are more schools adding it. There are more kids wanting to try it out, but some of them might be a little bit nervous. What kind of advice would you give them?
Just practice. Don't be afraid to, try new things. Like in practice, just don't be afraid to shoot and just take a shot. Like never know what'll happen.
You don't need it in your program because you have a big turnout and you have a big roster. But if someone's trying to get in wrestling or someone wants to maybe check it out, what's your sales pitch to bringing someone on into the sport?
I mean, you get mentally tough by wrestling, and it's a little physical too. So,
do you guys, are you guys in the hallways talking to your classmates, to the people in the halls? Do you think that you said your success has obviously helped sell it too, but are you guys that are on the team, you guys have been wrestling for a while, are you trying to get new kids out all the time?
Yeah, we're always talking to football kids and other sports, trying to get them to come wrestle.
We see you on the football field, and anyone that does football and wrestling always tells us that it's a different shape. You can't be in football shape and wrestling shape. It's just it's a different kind of endurance. It's a different kind of being in shape. What's the thing that you do the best to transition from football into wrestling during your career?
Just more mat time, because you can run sprints all you want, but you're gonna gas out. This mat strength and like it's just a whole different level.
We've asked this in the past. Everybody that's wrestled, you got to make weight. You're watching what you're eating, whatnot. After you make weight, especially if you've had to cut, what is your favorite thing to eat after you get off of that scale? Your coach says, okay, go hydrate, get something in your stomach. What's Kyle Burt's go-to?
My mom makes this pretty good banana bread. I'll usually put some honey on that, and I'll have some Pedialyte with that.
Love it. That's a mom that's ready to go right there. That's good. Want to talk about your family in general. Want to ask you about your family that you have and what makes them special to you and how much they've helped you grow as a person.
I mean, like social wise, like my brother has Triple Threat Media and he posts me all the time, so that really helps getting like out there and like people seeing wrestling. But like I don't know, my brother kind of inspires me to like be better whenever I'm wrestling him, like try new things and stuff.
Okay, last question. You say your brother is what inspires you. If you guys were to get on the mat, even with your dad or anybody else in your family, are you coming out on top at the Burt family wrestling tournament?
No, for sure.
Yeah, come on, you got it. You got to bet on yourself all the time, man. Before we let you go, Scotty always joins us on these Wrestling Wednesdays. I want to give him a chance to ask you a question as well.
Yeah, Cal. So I was just wondering, um, what's the biggest thing you've learned from? You said you started when you were 4 or 5 years old, and then you really got into it in junior high. But what's like the biggest and most valuable thing you've learned over these last, over these several years until now?
The biggest thing that I've learned is just to be mental tough, and like it takes a big toll on you wrestling, and you just got to push through it no matter how hard it is.
Kyle, we want to give you the chance to thank your support system before that you go. We do this for every player profile, no matter the sport. Want to let you shine a light on the people that have supported you and that have your back the whole time. So, want to let you take as much time as you want to give a shout out to those people in your life.
I'd just like to thank my family, my friends, like thank coaches, Coach Hart and Coach Caden, and thank my lifting partner every day, Aiden Stacker, and that's about all I got. Thank
All
you.
right. All right, Kyle. We want to thank you so much for joining us today on Wrestling Wednesday. We appreciate the time. We wish you the best of luck this year, and we can't wait to see you again real soon.
All right, thank you.
You got
Thanks,
it, bud.
Kyle.
Kyle Burt from Salem joining us on episode 5 of Wrestling Wednesdays. Gary, you've talked about Salem program a lot. We've talked about him a lot. Salem's one of the OGs and YSN, one of the first 4. So we've been with those kids since 2017, the start of YSN. Always a big program. Like doesn't matter what seniors graduate. It seems like they're always able to turn out kids and turn out interest in the sport in that school. What do you think is a big reason why?
Well, it's success, breeds on itself. When you do good, the kids in the hallways are talking about it. That obviously helps. It sells itself. What is the old saying? Winning cures everything. So I think obviously with their success, that it's probably been brick by brick. If you talk to Coach Hart, it probably didn't start out that way. He probably had to get to that point. But Salem is, at least in Columbiana County terms, a big school. I believe they're the biggest school district in the county. So there's a lot of kids walking the hallways, and when you have a lot to choose from, you get a little bit of success. The kids are out there in the hallways talking. I would imagine the school is probably promoting it big time. Hopefully they're doing the announcements in the morning saying congratulations to the wrestling team for bringing home the Madison tournament trophy, those kind of things. And you see your classmates doing good, having fun, and it probably just, I would imagine it snowballed into that, but I can guarantee it didn't start out that way. I bet that they've had to grind to get there. Coach Hart and his staff, it had to put the work in at the junior high level, especially. The bridge to a healthy wrestling program is the junior high. I believe that wholeheartedly, and I'm sure that started there, and kind of all things seem to come together after you really put the foundation in. And I bet that's probably, if I had to guess, that's how it went.
As we transition into the recap of the week of wrestling, let's talk about the D3s that you were at. I know you guys had a very good weekend in Waterloo, and we saw a lot of YSN teams down there. What were your takeaways from the D3s?
It's a great tournament to go to if you're a small school, because it's all Division III schools. My takeaway was that we're in the thick of things. Last week, I said that things were ramping up, but we're definitely right in the heart of wrestling season. You can see the wrestlers on the mat are getting in better shape. You're seeing more close matches. You're seeing guys dropping weight and getting to where they want to be for the rest of the season. You're just seeing better competition. The more time goes on, the longer the season goes, the better wrestlers get, the better in shape that they get, and the better product that you see out on the mat.
Also over the weekend, Austin Town Fitch went 5-0 in their tournament that they went to. They beat Ravenna 42-26. They beat Berea Mid Park 54-12. They beat Poland 69-10. They were able to win over West Branch 75-6, and then they won over Worcester 80-0. 5-0 wrestlers for Fitch were Sky Jones, Joey Jarris, Jalen Danko, Louis Deloach, Devin Phillips, Marky Scancorb, and then Noah Boland. So Austintown Fitch off to a great start. They had 4 other kids go 4-1, and then a couple of them go 3-2. I don't think any wrestlers had a losing record for their meet. So Fitch is one of those wrestling programs maybe not talked about as much as they should be, but they're proving a lot of people this season that they have some really good wrestlers.
Yeah, it's a team that has a good depth, good coaching, a good tradition there. I believe Coach Burt, there's only been a handful of head coaches at Austintown Fitch. I'm not sure what number he is on the list, if he's only the 3rd or 4th ever in their school's history. So when you've got that kind of stability, you've got a big school. That might be the biggest school district in YSN's network. If not, they are the top 2 or 3. They've always done well. They've always had several guys in each weight class, and there's no doubt that a team like that will do well in duels, because the more depth you have, the better you are at dual tournaments, because you can plug guys in here, plug guys in there. At this way, you can bump a guy up if you want, or your guy wrestles better here in these situations, and his opponent often tries to get in here. There's a lot of strategy that goes into duels, so it's no surprise to me that Fitch did well.
We have the NE8 duels going on tonight. Chris Colucci going to be on the call there. South Range, obviously. Hubbard will be there. Poland, Gerard. There are a lot of good wrestling programs in that NE8. What are you most excited about seeing tonight on the network?
I think there are a lot of evenly matched teams. I bet that there'll be some close duels tonight. And you'll see teams that they will come out fighting, and depending on where the match starts, what weight they start, it could come down to the last match. I'm pretty sure that Hubbard won the dual tournament that they were at over the weekend. Obviously we have a great tradition with the South Range coming in, so I'm interested to see. I think that we're going to have some close matches.
And then we talk about the weekend. Well, is there anything going on this weekend that you think is noteworthy that YSN teams are in, or YSN teams or YSN fans, I should say, should know about?
Off the top of my head, I do not. This weekend here is a slow one for wrestling as far as the weekend goes. It's tough to get something in over the winter break. And a lot of times people will do it during the week too, because they want to avoid the weekend for whatever reason. It must be easier to just get things done during the week. I don't have anything off the top of my head. I really don't. These NE8 duels are the ones that I've been focusing on here for this week, especially.
What is up next for your squad at Wellsville?
A week from Saturday, we'll be at the Jackson Milton tournament. It's the one that they put on every year for years. It's a really great run tournament. I talked to Coach Wiedenthal this week at the D3 tournament, and he's going to have some new teams in there. I think Kirtland's coming this year, and I'm not sure if they've ever been to that tournament. We don't usually see them personally until we get to districts. So there'll be a lot of local schools there. And last year, that was a really great tournament, especially competition-wise as well. There was a lot of good competition, a lot of close matches, and then a lot of tough wrestlers. So pretty excited to head there on the 6th.
Thank you for reminding me about Hubbard. They won the Shaker duels at Pymatuning Valley. They beat Western Reserve 65-18. Had a tough one with Geneva, 39-35. They beat Geneva. They beat Pymatuning Valley, the host school, 52-29. They beat St. John's 70-12, and then they were able to cap it off with a win against South Range, 50-36. So we could be seeing, those teams are starting a little bit of a headbutting rivalry. We'll obviously see a couple more of them wrestle tonight in the NE8 duels. Nick Bowser, who was the guest last week, he was crowned the MVP for his duels. And Sean Bates won the quick pin with an 8-second pin. That's impressive. 8 seconds is a quick one for sure. So Hubbard had a good weekend at Pymatuning Valley as they win that duel, and they also have the MVP and Nick Bowser in the duels as well.
Yeah, congratulations to him. He said he was hoping that team would pull home the the victory. I think he said it was the first of his high school career. If they were to get it, would be the first team trophy. So congrats to the Eagles. That team, he talked about how they've been trying to build a better program and get more kids out and just build on the success. So that's it's got to feel great. This has probably been a great week of practice for those guys. I'm sure yesterday that they went in there with a really good day of practice. They were probably feeling great. Maybe they had an optional practice on Christmas Day. I don't know, but I'm sure them kids are feeling great about themselves. They're feeling confident, and I'm sure that they want this NE8 title. So in South Range, I'm sure they do as well. They probably want to avenge that loss over the weekend. And you can't count out the other teams in the NE8 because we saw during football season what kind of athletes there are in that league, in that conference. I don't think you can count any of those teams out. It should be a fun match to watch tonight.
Nick Bowser also trying to be the first player in the Hubbard Wrestling program to bring home a state title, and we think after what he went through last year, being injured last year and just grinding through that state run anyway, a good chance to do it again this year. We know that the heavyweights in the district are tough for sports, but Nick Bowser a really good chance to bring home a state trophy for the first time for Hubbard Wrestling. That would be a big moment for him.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I'm sure that he's just taking it one match at a time, though, and not getting ahead of himself. And,
Media can look ahead.
Yeah.
We can be the fans.
Well,
but we know Nick Bowser will be one match at a time. Let's focus on these duels, these NE8 duels, the conference duels. These are your big rivals. These are the ones that you have conference, you have conference bragging rights if you're able to do well tonight, and these are the ones that he's focused on right now.
Yeah, and when I asked him last week if being at the state tournament the first time, if maybe the stage was something he wasn't prepared for, and he said no, he's been in even bigger tournaments than that.
Yep.
So I'm sure that he's chill, he's relaxed, he's getting in shape and just focusing on what's in front of him. And some of the best advice you can get is don't look up, don't look in the crowd, and don't look ahead to anything else. Just focus on what you have right in front of you and take it one match at a time.
He was quick with that answer too. He wanted people to know. He wanted everyone to know, like right off the jump, like that was not the reason why the state didn't go that way. And that's a great confident kid right there. Love him, love Nick Bowser, love our wrestlers. We want to thank Cyle Burt for joining us today as the next guest of Wrestling Wednesday. We have a couple that might be lined up next week where we're just the first come, first serve. We have a couple more weeks of Wrestling Wednesday, obviously. So don't worry. Next Wednesday, we will have another guest on Wrestling Wednesday. We always try to get one per week. And I can't wait to see who kind of lines up next week. But we have a couple of them in the barrel that I think we're aiming for. So we're getting more and more excited as we continue Wrestling Wednesday. Next week will be episode 6.
Crazy. Already a month and a half in. Once the new year hits, it seems like everything gets rolling because usually every weekend in January, most teams have something going on. So the ball is going to get rolling and things are really going to start hitting their stride here soon.